Tomorrow is GBM Awareness Day, bringing awareness to the most common type of brain cancer, glioblastoma.
There are approximately 15,000 new cases of GBM diagnosed in the U.S. every year. Joining us this morning to help raise awareness, Dr. Tobias Walbert, a neuro-oncologist, and to share his personal story, we have Ira Bornstein joining as well. Gentlemen, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Good morning.
Good morning. Doctor, let's start with you. Can you tell us more about the stats for brain cancer among Americans?
Yeah, as you mentioned, about 15,000 people a year are diagnosed with glioblastoma. Glioblastoma is the most common and as well the most aggressive brain tumor that originates in the brain. Typical treatment, we are looking at patients undergo surgery. We're trying to take out as much as possible, and then followed by radiation with chemotherapy. In addition, patients have the opportunity to wear innovative wearable FDA-approved device called tumor treating fields, or Optune, and that is a different treatment modality than what we are used to. It works differently than chemotherapy. It applies a low electric field that interferes with cell cycle division and stops the cancer from growing. And we did like big clinical trials where a lot of people were wearing this device or not, and the people wearing this device, they just did better, and that gives us hope.
But before we go too far down that road with treatment, Doctor, I just want to correct myself. Glioblastoma, and what are some of the common symptoms there?
Yeah, so glioblastoma, the symptoms that patients typically present with, it really depends which part of the brain is affected, but we see headaches, dizziness, numbness. I think the difference is to what people are used to hear from like a stroke, where there is a sudden onset. Typically in brain tumors, we have a more subacute, like a slower onset. So that, I think, is the biggest difference to strokes.
Okay, and then you can continue your thought now, Doctor, with the latest treatments and therapies that are available right now.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the tumor treating fields is the newest ones of our treatments, and we have more and more experience with that. And the great part of that is like really that that there are relatively little side effects that don't overlap. Like with chemotherapy, we look at patients having issues with nausea, having issues with fatigue, having issues with low blood counts. And because it is a different technology, we don't see that, and that makes really a big difference.
Ira, can we talk to you for a moment about your diagnosis with a brain tumor back in 2020, we're reading here, and tell us please a little bit more about your journey and how this Optune treatment helped you.
Sure. I was diagnosed the end of July 2020. In a week, I'll be out 2 years from diagnosis. Following that, within a week, I had a craniotomy and was lucky enough to have a very talented surgeon who was able to remove the entire tumor. It was followed by 6 weeks daily of radiation and chemo, then about 2 months off, and then I began chemo again, and at the same exact time began wearing the Optune device. Basically, I have adapted to it quite well. I believe that, as long as you become committed to it, it doesn't have to make too much of a change in your life. I basically continue to live my life as I did before. I was always very active. I still am. My wife and I walk every day for 3 to 5 miles. We hike at altitude. The last 2 years, I've skied over 200,000 vertical feet.
Oh my goodness.
We horseback ride. I snowshoe at altitude. Basically, other than going in water with it, which you obviously can't, there really isn't anything you can't do with it. I work out every other day for 1 hour and 3/4. And you can, just you can make yourself comfortable with it. You can move the things around that attach the arrays on your head to the device so that you can do, I've even done aerial yoga while wearing this.
Wow.
So, you don't have to stop living your life at all.
Yeah.
You just have to believe in yourself and be optimistic, about this.
And Ira, what were your thoughts, if you will, when you first learned of the diagnosis? I imagine you didn't think that this would be the outcomes, as successful as it's been.
Actually, when I first got the diagnosis, when I was sitting in the hospital room after an MRI, my initial reaction was, I told my wife, we will beat this.
Nice.
Her reaction was, so now you're deaf too, because the doctor had, given you, this terrible, future plan, telling you, you only have so many months to live with this and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't, the numbers are only averages. Averages never apply to a particular person. And she doesn't have any greater insight into how long I'll live than I myself. Once I told my wife that, she was grounded and was terrific. And I've been positive about this from the get-go. I think that's what you have to, you have to respond to it with positivity.
Yeah.
If you view it as a death sentence, it'll be that. But it's really a life sentence. You might not have the luxury of time, but it gives you a reason to keep living your life, as long as you can.
And
Appreciate
that
that
optimism
perspective.
combined
Yes,
with this treatment, it seems like it's working for you. Doctor, before you go, where can folks get more information?
Yeah, I think the most important part is to seek treatment in a specialized center with neuro-oncologists, and particular about the tumor treating fields, the Optune device. You find a lot of patient information on optune.com.
All right.
Okay.
Dr. Tobias Walbert and Mr. Ira Bornstein, thank you both so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for, giving us the opportunity to, educate people about this.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen.